So when we got started with Double Your Dating, it was just me sitting at a computer in my bedroom with an ebook, and I taught myself HTML, I taught myself how to build web pages, put the book online, and it took off. It started to become successful. And then my good friend Dean Jackson came over, and I'm going to make an announcement here. He's going to be here later in the program. You're going to meet him. He's one of the smartest marketers I believe that's ever lived. I have a confession to make. It's not really a confession so much as to set the record straight. A lot of people call me the father of the landing page. So you've seen landing pages like the one we just saw that Ira had with the headline and the bullets and the opt-in box. A lot of people say that I'm the father of the landing page because I was the first one that had one. Well, the reality is Dean Jackson is actually the first one that had one. And we were working on this business because he's the one that kind of convinced me to start this in the first place. And we were brainstorming some different ideas, and we decided to put up a page that instead of just letting people come into our website, we would say, hey, we've got good stuff inside here. If you'll give us your name and your email address, you can come inside and see what we've got. And instead of having traffic just come to the website, and if they bought, and if they didn't, they didn't, now we were capturing leads. Now we were getting people who weren't maybe quite ready to buy or who wanted to build a relationship and get to know us better. And then what I started doing is creating an email newsletter and following up with those leads that came in. And that one tweak was a dramatic shift in our business. It was truly dramatic. I would say right now that if we had to go back and chart the growth of our business over time and say, where would it be right now? Our business would probably be, 1/10 or 1/5 or something the size that it is, had we not changed the order in which we captured information. Now, what's interesting and counterintuitive about landing pages, and what happens a lot when people come to work with our business, especially smart business people, is they say, you mean you turn away 80% of the people that come to your website? 80% of the people, they just don't ever even come in? We've got to do something about that. We've got to do something to capture that traffic. And it usually ruminates in their brain for a long time until they see the whole model and they see how it works and they say, oh, by losing the 80%, we actually get 5 times as much out of the 20%. That makes a lot of sense. Which introduces another concept that we're going to be talking about later in this section called moving the free line. And moving the free line is a little idea that I came up with, and it's about giving away a massive quantity of value. In fact, giving away so much value that the prospect says to themselves, well, geez, if this is the stuff they're giving away, how valuable must be the stuff that they're selling? The internet is amazing for moving the free line because you can give away a lot of stuff very inexpensively. You can distribute audio, video, printed materials, software. You can do all kinds of stuff for a very, very low cost. And this is kind of caught on in internet marketing circles. And now a lot of people are using this term, moving the free line. And we'll get to it in just a little bit here. But when I combined the landing page with our free newsletter, which when I started to do it, I tried a few things, goofed around with it a little bit. My ideas didn't work out the way I thought they were going to. I had to actually start doing a little bit of work and writing content, and the more content I wrote, the better it did. The more personality and humor and energy and kind of fire I put into the copy and the newsletter, the better it performed. And at one point I decided, I'm going to create the best newsletter that's ever been written on any topic, the most valuable newsletter ever, and then I'm going to give it away. I want this thing to be as valuable as a newsletter that someone charges $1,000 a year for, and then I'm going to give it away. And I created what I think our business is pretty proud of, is a very, very valuable, entertaining, educational. It's basically an education course that you can get for free just by coming to our website. Thousands of pages of great free information. And it seems to be working. It converts very well, and it's helped us build a big business. So that combination of the landing page, capturing leads up front, and then moving the free line and offering massive value was a huge, one of the biggest shifts and one of the most profitable long-term shifts we ever made. Another thing that happened back right around the time that I was starting, a few months in maybe, right around the time we were experimenting with the landing page. This was probably right before the landing page, but this was a tremendous breakthrough in thinking especially, a breakthrough in my paradigm, was I tested prices. And in the past, I really hadn't, I'd studied marketing for a lot of years, really hadn't had the opportunity to test different prices against each other in many situations. It's not as easy to do that offline when you have to do printed runs and split testing magazine ads and split testing direct mail. But on the internet, it's a little easier. And so one day I said, I'm going to raise the price of my ebook, my downloadable book, from, it was $29.95, and I decided to raise it to $39.95 and just test a different price. And I remember the day specifically because I drove down to San Diego from Los Angeles to spend the day with my two best friends, Dean Jackson, who I mentioned, who will be here later, smart marketing guy, and my friend Richard, who's here actually kind of overseeing the program in the room. And I went down to see them, and we hung out for the day. And later in that day, I said, I can't remember whose computer it was. I think it was Dean's. I said, hey, can I borrow your computer? I need to get online and check my stats and kind of see what's going on. I haven't seen what the results were of this test. And I remember logging into my account and seeing, I thought something was wrong. I thought something must be broken. There were 10 sales for $39.95. It was my highest number of sales in one day, and the highest volume. So I sold more product at a higher price in one day. Now, this wasn't a scientific split run test where I was A-Bing, and I'm sure there was a little bit of variation there, but all of a sudden I realized, essentially, they're still buying at the same rate or better, even though I raised my price by 33%. And like I said, it changed my paradigm. Now when we launch products, in 80% of the cases or something like that, we do a split run of several prices, different terms, different offers, and we see which one performs better. And wouldn't you know that once in a while, the highest price outperforms the other prices? It's very interesting. Who here tests prices and terms on a religious basis? Raise your hand. Okay, so what do you think, maybe 20% of the audience, that kind of thing? So one of the things that I discovered is that changing that little price thing and having it just show up over and over can make a huge difference. If you increase your price 10% and it works and it performs as well as or better, how much more profitable does your process or your model become? A lot. In most cases, that would double the profitability of an offer, getting 10% more. So test prices and test terms. And then the next thing, and I'm going to share something with you that I've never really shared in public before. This was a great little discovery. A little bit later on, we released our first back-end product, our first higher-end program. It was a $200 CD program, which about 6 months later we released on DVD. It was called our Advanced Dating Techniques program. And after releasing it, I said, okay, we don't have any fancy technology. We can't do all the things that we would love to eventually be able to do. How can we upsell our customers to this thing? So I had Sheila on our team, who was the very first person that came to work with me, who I hired as kind of a part-time virtual assistant. I said to her, hey, Sheila, let's try something. Let's take all the customers that purchased our ebook a couple of weeks ago, and let's send them a personal email, a real personal email that I'll write it, and you'll just send them from my email account. And it will say, hey, I noticed you bought my ebook. I hope you're enjoying it. And I don't remember exactly what it said, but maybe I hope you read chapter 4 where I shared this great technique. And by the way, if you enjoyed my book, you're really going to like my advanced course because it goes into depth in these 3 areas. And you know what I'd like to do is, let me send you one to try out. I won't even charge you. Just try it. Try it for a month. And if you like it, keep it. And if you don't, just send it back. I'll pay the shipping. Don't worry about it. Those emails And again, I don't have the exact figures right here. I didn't go dig them up. I didn't go dig into the stats. But as I recall, those emails were worth something like $10 a piece in sales. Those cut and paste emails that took 30 seconds a piece or 60 seconds to do. Just following up a couple of weeks later with a personal email saying, I hope you enjoyed it. Here's something else. Just try it. If you like it, great. If not, just send it back. Another huge aha. Now later we became more sophisticated, and we'll tell you about that a little bit later in the program, and we built custom technology to do a lot of these things automatically during the purchase process and afterwards. And I recommend that if you are not upselling and cross-selling people and then selling on the back end and going back to your customers and saying, would you like some more stuff? Would you like some more stuff? And if you like that, I've got some more stuff for you. Then you're probably throwing away at least as much profit as you're making. Very big lessons in our business. So in this program, we're going to use the word customer a lot. Customer, client, prospect. I'm going to use the word customer a lot. And what I'd like to do is suggest to you a different term for customer. I'd like to suggest the term business friend. You might want to write that down. Think of them as business friends. And what's the difference between thinking of someone as a business friend and thinking of someone as a customer? If you think of someone as a customer, typically, I think your mindset that you go into is, I am the big, powerful business, and they are the little customer. I will create this massive voicemail tree that I will pay $4.95 a month for. And when they call, it will say, if you want to reach sales, press 1. If you'd like to reach customer service, press 2. If you'd like to have blah, 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 press 3. Right? That's the mindset. That's a customer calling, and I need to treat them like a business and quote policy and procedure to them. But I don't think that customers want to be treated that way. Do you want to be treated that way when you are the customer of a business? It just seems like a huge disconnect. So if you trade out that term customer for business friend, what it does is it switches around the neural connections. And you start saying, well, you know what? How would I treat this person if I was their friend? What if I was their trusted advisor? What if I was someone that they trusted to give them good advice, and what they were going to do is trade me some value in return? John Carlton, wonderful friend of mine, amazing copywriter, he says the hardest thing to do in the world and the hardest skill to acquire is to get the human animal to take out its wallet, take out the credit card, and give it to you. The hardest skill to get an individual person, learn how to get the person to take their money out and give it to you. Very few people have that skill. Think about how hard it is to build a relationship with someone to the point where you can borrow $100 from them. What does it take to build a relationship from scratch? I mean, are you gonna, even if you hang out with someone the whole program, let's say that, this program's 5 full days long. Let's say you meet them, hang out with them, have 7 meals with them, really bond, and at the end of that time, you realize you got your wallet ripped off and you need to get a cab to the airport and you're going to need a little bit of money, you need $100. Would you feel comfortable saying, can I borrow $100 from you? Just throwing it out there. Hey, can I borrow $100 without going, oh, I lost my wallet and I don't know. I don't know that I would. I'd probably squirm and try to find some other way to do it than to just say, hey, can I borrow $100? It takes a while to build a relationship where you have enough trust and connect to just borrow $100. What about getting someone to give you $100 in return for some unknown value or unknown result? What does that take? These are humans. These are real individual people that we're talking about. They're us. We're skeptical. We don't want to just send our money in and have someone maybe abscond with it and maybe not. Well, as a business friend, what you do is you take the approach of, I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to build a relationship with you. I don't just want to take your money. I want to help you. I understand your situation. Clearly, listen to the way that I'm talking. I will build a relationship with you, and then what I'd like to do is propose that we have a mature friendship. And in a mature friendship, there's going to be reciprocity. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide you with a massive amount of value. In fact, I'm going to provide you with way more value than you would expect. And after you get all that value, then you be the judge. You decide whether or not it makes sense to pay for it. Doesn't that just feel more right? Isn't that the way a friend would treat you and interact with you? Now, that's very idealistic, and I'm stylizing and generalizing and wrapping this up into a little kernel of an idea. But how much more would you like to be treated that way yourself as a customer? Well, can you weave some of that into your communication and the way that you're dealing with your customers, being a business friend rather than treating them like a customer? Earlier I mentioned that we have this channel we go on to almost. It's like business communication mode, where you're talking to your friends and you're saying, hey, how's it going? Hey, what'd you do the other day? Oh, great, man, did I tell you about this? And then a customer calls and we're like, hello? Yes, Evan Pagan speaking, altitude program. What can I do to help you? Let me check my manual and get back to you. Is that what people want? No, they truly want, when you call, for you to say, hi, how are you? I'm glad you called. What can I do? Where are you at? What's your problem? What's the situation you're going through? What do you need? What can I do to help? How can I assist you getting what you want? It's a different mode of communication. It's a different way of communicating. And you can do it in a professional way. Okay, when your customers call, you don't have to go, hey, yeah, dude, what up? It's altitude. Okay, you can find that happy medium. Although Frank would like it if I answered the phone that way. A lot. So let's talk about the way that you build a relationship with another person. I've thought a lot about this, as you might imagine, coming from the dating advice world, and also from marketing. And I see that there are a lot of parallels. And ultimately, the more you do things, the more you do different things, the more you study different processes, especially processes that involve humans, the more you see that there are a lot of commonalities. And what I've seen, and I realize I'm not the first one that's ever seen this, but we all go through a few simple, general steps when we're connecting with and making friends with another person. The first step we go through is attention, where we have the attention of the other person, or we get their attention. There's some attention-getting thing. You're going about your life, and then all of a sudden this other person's there, and they've got your attention. You stop what you're doing, and you pay attention to them. The next step is connection. There's some connect somewhere, right? Oh, you're a Padres fan? I'm a Padres fan. You love Jethro Tull? I love Jethro Tull. You're in marketing? I'm in marketing. You live in California? I live in California. There's always some connect that happens. Starts this rapport building process, but there's always a connection. There's got to be a connector. And then finally, there's a commitment. We get past the connection and we say, you know what? This is something that I'm going to be committed to. This is a friend. This is somebody that I want to have a relationship with. And when you have that attention, connection, commitment process happen, this is not something that happens intellectually, right? We don't say, oh, okay, I'm going to pay attention to this person. Oh, I see the connection, so that's logical, so we should continue to develop the dialogue. And, oh, you know what? I'm going to make the logical decision to make a commitment to this person. All emotional, all unconscious, not things that we are conscious of having happen. And in business, when we have this, and this is the process that we go through when we're marketing, right? We run ads to try to get someone's attention. We write some copy, or we send out promos, or we do whatever to, engage them and connect with them on an emotional level and get them amped up. And then we want a commitment on the relationship. We want them to buy something. How do you know someone's committed to you? They act on it. They behave in a way that shows that they're committed. So that's what we're asking of our customers. Have you ever considered maybe trying to do that for them? Because guess what? Your customer wants the exact same thing from you. It's what you want from other businesses. You want them to pay attention to you. You want the business to connect with you. And you want the business to commit to you and demonstrate that commitment. And in most business processes that I look at, most marketing processes, conversion processes that are broken, this is absent. There is no, I'm demonstrating to my customer that I want to pay attention to them and that I have paid attention to them. There is no demonstrating to them, I want to connect to you. Me as a person, am interested in you and I want to connect to you. And there is no, and I'm so committed to this thing that you're trying to get done that I will make the commitment to help you get there. And I'm going to act on it. Let me show you. Let me prove it to you. That spirit just is not inside of it. It's, here's what I'm selling. You should be fortunate enough to buy it from me. That's it. I put my wares out on a table, and if you're too stupid to buy them, then that's your problem. I get a lot of experts, content experts, topic experts, that if they see me talk or they see one of my products, they come to me and they go, oh, I've been looking for you all of my life. I've spent 20 years developing the ultimate poodle clipping system and method, where you can take any pair of shears and shear your poodle in 7 minutes, and it comes out perfect every time, and I just haven't found someone to help me market it. All right? It's very spooky when I hear that. And then I say, well, how about this? There are a couple of interesting sales and marketing books that I recommend that you read. Why don't you read these and then get back to me, and maybe I can work with you and help you a little bit. And they go, oh, no, you don't understand. I don't want to do any of that sales and marketing stuff. I'm not good at any of that stuff. I just want to be the best poodle clipping 7-minute technique developer the world's ever known. I want to let that sales and marketing stuff, that's for somebody else. We all think that our ideas and our products are the best in the world, the best the world's ever seen. We think everyone should just see them and go, oh, it's self-evident. I would suggest that you try, just recommend maybe testing out, broadcasting to your customers, you know what, I'm going to pay attention to you. I'm going to connect to you. I want to connect with you. And I want to make a commitment to help you get the result you're looking for, deliver you from pain, deliver you into the pleasure that you want, give you the result. Just try that. Something that inspired me, by the way, is I've seen this process, but there was something that helped catalyze it, I guess, or kind of just sum it up and crystallize it. I have 3 books in my collection. Each one are profound. The first one is called The Attention Economy. The second one is called The Experience Economy. And the third one is called The Support Economy. I said, now wait a minute. It can't be an attention economy, an experience economy, and a support economy, because every one of them is saying this is the answer. But then I realized that they're all right. They're just talking about different phases of the relationship. The attention economy is about getting the attention of the customer. The experience economy is about giving the customer an experience that they enjoy, the experience, I believe, of being connected with and to. And the support economy is about supporting the customer in the result that they want, delivering the result, taking them by the hand and leading them to the promised land. So as it turns out, it is the attention economy, the experience economy, and the support economy all rolled into one.